Georgiou Law PLLC. Clear your debt, claim your future. In this episode, we will be discussing wage garnishment in New York, what you need to know. The podcast helps you understand the laws that affect your finances and equips you to protect your rights when you are faced with credit card debt lawsuits. I am Efstathios Georgiou, the managing attorney and founder of Georgiou Law PLLC, here in the heart of New York City. But before we begin, remember, this podcast is for informational purposes only and does not create an attorney-client relationship. Every case is unique, so speak with a qualified attorney about your specific situation. Today's topic is one that often blindsides people: wage garnishment. If you've ever opened your paycheck and found part of it missing because of a court order, you know how devastating this can be. In this episode, I will explain how wage garnishment works in New York, what the limits are, what income is protected, and most importantly, what you can do to stop it. So what is wage garnishment? It's a legal process where a creditor collects on a judgment by taking a portion of your wages directly from your employer. In New York, this cannot happen unless two things occur. The creditor has a court judgment against you, and they've obtained an income execution order through a marshal or sheriff. The process typically goes like this. After winning a judgment, the creditor delivers an income execution to the local marshal or sheriff. The marshal or sheriff then sends a first stage notice, giving you the chance to voluntarily make payments. If you do not respond or you cannot pay voluntarily, they move to second stage, which means that the employer is directed to withhold money from your paycheck. What limits are there on garnishment in New York? New York law protects you from having your entire paycheck taken. The rules are as follows. Creditors can garnish up to 10% of your gross wages or 25% of your disposable earnings, whichever is less. Disposable earnings means what's left after legally required deductions like taxes, Social Security, and unemployment insurance. There's also a minimum income protection. If your disposable income is less than 30 times the federal minimum wage per week, your wages cannot be garnished at all. These protections exist so you have enough to live on. However, even with these limits, garnishment can be financially crushing. What is exempt income? Certain income sources are completely exempt from garnishment in the state of New York, including Social Security benefits, supplemental security income, public assistance, unemployment insurance, workers' compensation, public and private pensions, disability benefits, child support and spousal support you receive. So if your wages are entirely from exempt sources, creditors generally cannot garnish them, but you often need to assert that exemption in writing to either the sheriff, the marshal, or the court. If the judgment was entered by default, meaning you never had your day in court, you may be able to get it vacated. And if you are successful, the garnishment stops while the case is reopened. Number 2, assert exempt income. If your income is from one of the protected sources we just mentioned, you must file a claim of exemption with supporting documentation. Number 3, negotiate with the creditor. The creditors sometimes agree to lower payment amounts or to stop garnishment if you can offer a lump sum payment or a structured payment plan. Number 4, financial hardship petition. You can ask the court to reduce the garnishment if it creates what we call an undue hardship, although you will need to provide evidence such as rent statements, utility bills, and other living expenses to show undue hardship. Acting before garnishment starts is key. The most effective way to handle garnishment is to prevent it from starting. That means addressing a lawsuit as soon as you've been served by filing an answer and raising affirmative defenses and fighting the case in court. At Georgiou Law, I've seen clients who could have avoided garnishment entirely if they had responded to the lawsuit early. Once garnishment begins, it's still possible to fight back, but the process is more urgent and stressful. So to recap, wage garnishment in New York requires a court judgment and an income execution. New York state law limits how much can be taken, and certain income sources are completely exempt from garnishment. You can stop or reduce garnishment by vacating the judgment, asserting exemptions, negotiating with the creditor, or showing financial hardship. If your wages are being garnished or you've just been served with a lawsuit, don't wait until your paycheck is affected. Call Georgiou Law today at 917-764-3072 for a free consultation. I will review your situation, explain your rights, and take the necessary steps to protect your income.
That's all for today. This was another episode of Clear Your Debt, Claim Your Future. If you're facing credit card debt, don't wait. Call 917-764-3072 for your free consultation. Talk to you soon.